अहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तं आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेव विदित्वाति मृत्युमेति न अन्यपन्था विद्यते यनाय. Respected audience present over here today, at the outset, a wonderful program by the girls Gopalpuram team. Thank you to all the Acharyas, the principal and the entire team for preparing the children, and to the parents for encouraging them during the process of their practice and also being present over here physically today. On every Sunday, for those who have come here for the first time, we typically, so this is the format. So we have the Agnihotra, we have a program by the children or by the adults, and then we have a meditation session, and then for about 10-15 minutes, we have a short spiritual talk or a discussion. So today, as part of this regular series, we will discuss about this very important topic of ahimsa or non-violence. As such, it sounds a very simple concept that what is so much there to know? One should not be violent. I think that's a pretty simple thing to understand as such. Also, the way we have been taught the concept of ahimsa, so look at, we said India got our independence by the ahimsa mode, isn't it? Right? So we also keep hearing that, some ideals that, okay, if someone hits you, just don't resist, it's all right, ahimsa. So this concept is a little muzzled, a little confused. So let's go back to the Shastras and understand as to, first of all, is there a definition of ahimsa? And how do we interpret it in our everyday lives? Yeah? So, the Shastras beautifully define ahimsa as if I go back to Yoga Darshan, so Yoga Darshan is a treatise written by Rishi Patanjali, who says in the second chapter that ahimsa is sarvatha sarvada sarva bhutana anabhidroha. So there are 4 words there. So let's just say together: sarvatha sarvada sarva bhutana anabhidroha. I'm sorry, I guess the font is okay. Can you see the screens? So sarvatha sarvada sarva bhutana anabhidroha. That's the definition of ahimsa. So now, let's kind of break it up. Okay. What does the word sarvatha mean? Sarvatha means in all possible ways. In all possible ways. Right? So, one aspect of violence is clearly physical. Right? Other aspect is also verbal. Isn't it? Verbally, when we use cuss words, when we get angry at someone, isn't it? Does that come under ahimsa? The answer is yes. Okay. So, sarvatha, sarvada. Also being mentally angry. Sometimes we don't possibly say, but in our mind there is a lot of anger. So, sarvatha. Clear? That's one aspect. So there are 4 words: sarvatha, sarvada, sarva bhutanam, anabhidroha. So first word is simple to understand: sarvatha, in all possible ways. Second thing is sarvada. Sarvada means what? At all times. At all times. Why do the Shastras have to say sarvada? It's possible that, for example, one says that, listen, in 24 hours, for 23 hours, 50 minutes, I am completely calm every day. Only for 10 minutes, I get really angry. Right? You are a pessimist. That if you don't see 23 hours, 45 minutes, I was absolutely fine. Only 10 minutes, I got angry. Right? So, it's all right. The Shastras say no. It says sarvada. at all times, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's what Shastras say is the ideal state. So it says Sarvatha, Sarvada, right? And then it says, next. It says Sarva Bhutanam. Now Sarva Bhutanam, why did I have to say? It says towards all living beings. Towards all living beings. There is no exception here. Right? So it could be elders, could be younger ones, animals, plants, right? You need to have that feeling of not having that violent attitude towards all living beings. I will not cover in detail today, but many of us will be following a non-vegetarian diet. There is definitely ahimsa in that, there is no doubt about it. You may today think my dietary preference, etc., all that's a different matter, but dharma is dharma. Dharma does not change, right? It is not based on your dietary preference or not. Sarvatha, Sarvada, Sarva Bhutanam, Anabhidroha. Animals also, if you commit violence, it definitely comes under himsa. There is no doubt about it. The last part it says is Anabhidroha, which essentially means that you should not have a thought process about harming someone. Not having a thought process of harming someone. So these four words, Sarvatha, Sarvada, Sarva Bhutanam, Anabhidroha. You should not have a feeling of harming the other person. These four words put together defines the concept of ahimsa. Simple. Now we'll take a couple of examples from a real life and see as to how does this get interpreted. So, one simplest example is that there are children here. We have parents and teachers here, isn't it? So, you scold a child. You scold her. Sometimes teachers scold you or not?
Yeah.
Yes, no? They'll all say yes. Parents? Yes. Yes, she is very loud. So now, does that come under himsa or not? Sarvatha, Sarvada, Sarva Bhutana, Anabhidroha. Right? So verbally, sometimes, isn't it? We scold. Sometimes even in offices, our bosses sometimes may scold us. Right? Elders also, sometimes things may happen. At home, spouse may sometimes mention something. Isn't it? So does that come under, so does the scolding come under himsa or not? What do you think? Any thoughts? How many of you think yes? How many of you think comes under yes? No? Undecided? Don't know either ways?
Scolding. Ahimsa.
Ahimsa.
When the parent does it, when the teacher does it.
So if a parent or a teacher does it, is it ahimsa? The answer technically is yes, but is it always ahimsa? Is it always ahimsa? So sometimes we do read some news reports, etc. Right? The teacher or the parent, right, kind of did something out of anger, trying to correct the child, but it went terribly wrong, isn't it? Right? When a couple of days back, we saw some news item, some sit-ups, some child was made to do sit-ups, etc. Something went wrong. So how does it? What qualifies this as himsa, and at what stage it becomes ahimsa? That's an important aspect for us to understand. See, when we scold someone, the Shastras say, when you scold someone, whether it is himsa or ahimsa, depends on two factors. The most important aspect is what is your state of mind? What is your own state of mind? If you are completely under control of yourself, you have complete self-control, and then you are scolding someone for his betterment, for his or her betterment, plus you are authorized to do so. You are authorized to do so. It is your duty, given your status, given your position. It is your duty to correct. You are authorized to do so. And what is your state of mind? If you are internally very, very angry and then you are scolding, then that will come under himsa. If you are completely under self-control and then you are scolding, that comes under ahimsa. Now take a step back and think about these two situations for all the elders. When you are completely under self-control and you are scolding, your words will be measured. Your words will be measured. You will obviously not go overboard. Whereas when you are, the self-control is not there, you are extremely angry internally, and at that point of time when you scold, what happens? The words are extremely sharp. Unnecessarily, they are extremely sharp, right? And you definitely tend to go overboard because of what? Your own state of mind. Your own state of mind. If that is the case, then the Shastras say this is himsa. This is himsa. But if you are in a complete self-control and you are authorized to do it, it is your duty to do it, and then when you engage in that particular scolding or whatever it is, it comes under ahimsa. Does it sound logical? Does it solve the paradox? Right? So this aspect, if you think through it, is applicable. He's asking me to extend by 5 more minutes. So is it okay? I think Prasad is taking some more time. So we will take a couple of more examples from our everyday lives. Okay. So this comes under, so this is clear. Right? This comes under what is himsa and what is ahimsa. Let's take for example one more such instance. So you go to the, for example, airport, right, and you get frisked, or you go to any place, you get frisked, isn't it? Do you like being frisked? The answer is no, isn't it? Is that person who is frisking you committing himsa or ahimsa? Your bags are also checked. It puts you to inconvenience. Right, railway station you go, you have to pick up bags, get it checked, you're frisked. Is it himsa or ahimsa? Why is it ahimsa? He is authorized to do so. It is his duty, and it is to the benefit of the larger society. Right, so that there is security out there. It's maintained. So because it is authorized, it is his duty, benefit of the larger society, right? It will come under ahimsa. Let's take another example. So you have a judge, okay, and he goes through so it's a murder case, and goes through multiple hearings, and the person who actually did not commit the crime, the judge gives a judgment that he was a person who committed the crime and sentences him to, say, 10 years imprisonment. This comes under himsa or ahimsa? You got the situation? A judge goes through a certain case, a crime was committed, right? And a person who actually did not commit the crime. I think this recently had an Indian, I think spent some 40 years in the US prison, right? Had not really committed the crime. Just got released some time back, isn't it? So did the judge who had originally declared and given this imprisonment, did he commit himsa or ahimsa? Himsa. So once again, the Shastras say that you have to go back to the intent of the judge, right? Whether he did his duty properly or not. So if he genuinely went through the case properly, applied his full mind to it, did not take any bribe, and genuinely believed, based on his due diligence, based on examining various witnesses, that he genuinely believed that this person has committed the crime and therefore sentenced him to imprisonment, that will come under ahimsa. But if there was any bribe, or he was careless, that will come under ahimsa. Make sense? Sound logical? One more situation. So you had the India-Pakistan border, isn't it? One of the most heavily guarded borders in the world. Now you have the Pakistani soldier and you have the Indian soldier. Who is committing himsa here and who is not committing himsa? Both are soldiers, isn't it? Guarding the border.
Pakistan is committing ahimsa.
Pakistan is committing.
Ahimsa. India is not committing.
So from our perspective, Pakistan is committing himsa. We are ahimsa. So if we are killing the Pakistani soldier, that is ahimsa. If he is killing us, that is himsa. How will a Pakistani view it? Someone sitting in Islamabad, the way he will view it is reverse, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Indian soldier killing Pakistani, himsa. Pakistani soldier killing, ahimsa. But dharma can be only one. All these boundaries of India, Pakistan, were they drawn by Ishwar or by us? All drawn by us. All this fighting, etc., for the last 70 years is all made by man. Dharma is one. Dharma cannot change. Right? So who is committing himsa, who is committing ahimsa over here becomes an interesting question for us to ponder over. Okay. So the way to analyze this as per the Shastras, if you look at it, is to take a call that listen, okay, 70 years back this line was drawn. This line was drawn. Now, the Pakistani soldier will argue that listen, I am only obeying the orders of my boss, of my army chief. My army chief is telling me to go and attack India. And that is why I am standing at the border and I am trying to kill an Indian, even through a snipers, here snipers, etc. Right? So I am trying to kill an Indian soldier. So he says, listen, I am following my duty. I am following my orders. So in that sense, I am committing ahimsa. Now over here, we take a step back and first see from an overall dharmic perspective as to who is violating this line after it has been drawn and accepted. Now we being in India, we believe they are violating this line. Right? That's what we believe. Assuming that is the truth, if they are violating this line and this Pakistani soldier is trying to kill an Indian soldier over here, right? Will it still qualify as himsa or ahimsa? Because he is only following the orders of his superior. It becomes an important question. Right? So, one aspect is clear, from a country perspective, they are engaging in himsa because they are crossing this line. From a country perspective. From an individual perspective, he is following the orders of his boss or of his army general, Munir now. So, from a country perspective, himsa is by Pakistan. From an individual perspective, the question still remains, is it himsa or ahimsa? From that person's perspective, from his karmic baggage perspective. Right? The Shastras say, from his karmic baggage perspective, he is also committing ahimsa. That Pakistani soldier also has a choice of not joining the Pakistani army. Technically, he has a choice, isn't it? You have a choice, right? But he still decides to go ahead and join the same Pakistani army and remains there. So because he had that freedom to join, he is joining it of his own will and remaining over there and then taking up orders that are incorrect or not dharmic in nature, that means as per his soul's karmic baggage as well, that is nothing but himself. My dear audience, this applies to us also in many contexts. We sometimes work in organizations, we work in places, and we tend to also justify things saying that, what can I do? Right? So, but this aspect is, the Shastra says very clear, that you cannot keep just pushing the ball on your organization or on your boss. Right? Ultimately, every soul is independent and the karmic baggage is of the soul. You have the discretion to leave that organization, to not be in that particular place. Right? So even in this judge example that we went by, right? So if the judge, right, is constantly, right, because of whatever circumstances, giving wrong judgments, he cannot just keep blaming it on the system. Ultimately, then soul also has to take the responsibility for it. So this is an important, interesting learning for us. I just want to check, maybe if we have a couple of questions, we can take it. Otherwise, we'll close the talk. If you have other questions based on what we discussed, if you agree, disagree, yes. Yeah, want to ask a question? Go ahead, please. So I'll take a question after the session. Okay, you continue. Yes, sir.
You will understand that ahimsa, himsa, a man has to take God based on dharma. Dharma is the top on which you have to decide. This himsa will not be the requirement of the day, correct? And the dharma also will be taken account like in a judge's case.
Correct.
Otherwise, the practicing this blindly will not pay all times.
That's right.
Secondly, why is it so the people are very calm and who practice believe in ahimsa have all the blood pressure and diabetes with them, and ferocious people are very healthy. You study around. The calm people always have all the.
So calm people have the blood pressure high, and the ferocious people
The
there.
people of ferocious are very healthy in life. I studied in my life.
Okay, yes, we have no.
I didn't understand when a Pakistani soldier tried to kill an American soldier. How is it America or this?
See, when the Pakistani soldier tries to kill an Indian soldier, it is himsa. Because it is a wrong deed they are doing. They are coming on the Indian side and trying to kill us. That's why it is himsa.
How is it the Pakistani soldiers was killing the Indians? The Pakistani soldiers boss only told them, right? So how can
So she's asking, the Pakistani soldier's boss only told him to do that, isn't it? Right? But if the boss gives you wrong orders, right, and you keep following it, it is not correct. It is still not dharma. You should rather leave that organization. That's what the Shastra says. Can we end the talk? One last situation I'll leave you with. You killing a mosquito that is biting you in the night. Is it himsa or ahimsa? You can think about it. So your question now, but I'll take it offline, because of the interest of time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.